The first phase of the Southport inquiry has found the attack was foreseeable and avoidable. Silva Aguiar, Elsie Dot Stancombe and Bebe King were murdered at a dance class in July 2024. 10 other people were injured. 17-year-old Axel Rudakabana has been sentenced to at least 52 years in prison. For months, a public inquiry has been examining the events leading up to the attack. The inquiry chair, Sir Adrian Fulford, said it could have been and should have been prevented. Our reporter Eunice Muller is outside Liverpool Town Hall. And Eunice, what more can you tell us about today's findings and the reaction there? That comment from the chair, obviously really harrowing for the families of the 3 little girls.
The chair, Sir Adrian Fulford, said the Southport attack was of unparalleled cruelty. He said the attack was carried out by a teenager who was fixated on extreme violence. This wasn't like a lightning, he described it as like a bolt of lightning out of a clear blue sky. He said this was violence repeatedly and unambiguously signposted. And there were 5 main systemic failures. 1, the lack of ownership from agencies who failed to take responsibility for him, agencies who dealt with the teenager before he carried out the attack. There was also critical they didn't share information between different agencies. He also said there was a misunderstanding of the teenager's autism and also a lack of oversight over his online activity, and he also spoke of parental failures. Now, he said the striking conclusion was the sheer number of missed opportunities to intervene before the attack happened. And he said, had they done so, it was highly likely the attack would not have occurred. He said that history simply would have taken a different course.
3 little girls murdered by a teenager who lived in the same community. How did it ever come to this? That's what the Southport inquiry has investigated. The girls' families gave their thoughts to it. Alexandra and Sergio, the parents of Silva Aguiar, said, "Our little family unit is no more. Her future has been ripped away." Bebe King's parents, Lauren and Ben, said their daughter's life was stolen because systems failed her. And while nothing said in this inquiry will ever bring her back, it can and must ensure that her death is not in vain. Jenny and David Stancombe are the parents of Elsie. Jenny said, "I stand here today asking this inquiry to ensure that what happened to our little girl is a genuine line in the sand." Today, Sir Adrian Fulford, chair of the inquiry, outlined his findings.
I have no doubt that if appropriate procedures had been in place and if sensible steps had been taken by the agencies and AR's parents, this dreadful event would not have happened. It could have been, and it should have been, prevented.
This is the home where the killer gathered his armoury. His father once stopped him leaving in a taxi to go to his old school because he thought he was carrying a knife. Alphonse Rudakabana told the inquiry he had withheld details of how bad things really were in the home because he didn't want his son to be taken away. He also failed to tell any agencies, including mental health teams and the police, his son had been buying weapons, including a machete, online. Rudakabana was sent to a special school for pupils excluded from mainstream education. The head teacher described him as sinister.
You say that you actually had a visceral sense of dread.
Yeah, I felt like he was building up to something, and I was aware of that he'd taken knives into school, and I was worried that he was going to bring something to our school and do something similar at our school.
The teenager seen here in a taxi on the day of the attack had been referred to the government's anti-terror programme Prevent 3 times, but the inquiry heard he did not meet the threshold for further intervention. PC David Fairclough from Lancashire Police was unaware of the referrals when he dealt with him long before the attack.
Did you have any knowledge of the fact that AR had been referred to Prevent but hadn't been, in inverted commas, taken on by Prevent?
No.
Rudy Cabana's attack came after years of on and off contact with mental health services. He was officially discharged from Alder Hey Children's Hospital 6 days before the murders, with a note stating his risk to others was minimal. The conclusions and recommendations of the inquiry have now been made public. Another phase is yet to take place. Danny Savage, BBC News, Liverpool.
We've had some reaction from the agencies that have been criticised in Sir Adrian Fulford's report today, including Lancashire Police, who said the force accepted there was an opportunity to arrest the teenager in 2022. We've also had an apology from Lancashire County Council and Social Services over the role they played and the systemic failings that they were part of. Now, there are around 67 recommendations made by Sir Adrian Fulford in his 700-page report. One of those recommendations relates to what phase 2 of this inquiry should look at, the activity online of children who pose a risk and the potential restrictions that could be posed on children. That phase 2, which will begin now that phase 1 has been completed, will look at the wider issue of children who are influenced by extreme violence and the impact that has on public safety.